Uh, well, I haven't figured out what I'm going to say, so welcome to
Say,
Final Fantasy
it's
16.
your boy.
No, that's not happening. Never.
Okay. It is your boy. Is that more proper?
It is more proper, but you have not keyed in on the problem.
Okay, you're right. Okay, maybe it's too assumptive. It is your person. It is your person.
You know, sure. It is your person, Corey.
I only half regret saying all these things.
Well, at least it's half.
Yeah, only half. 51% at most, for sure.
And you know what? Embarrassing admission time. For the longest, I thought on your channel, you were saying, hey. This
so,
is
hey. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. Did not realize you were saying an actual word.
Good old one semester of Latin. Like 20 years ago. And then just sticks in the brain. I do have to ask, is the mouse position being recorded or not?
He should not be because it's
Okay.
OBS.
Okay.
We'll get him out of the way just in case.
Checking. I saw it in the preview, so just checking.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and get started on this one. Yeah, this is all fine. We're
Action focused, obviously.
Yeah, because I'm a gamer.
Obviously, yes. Okay.
It was Moss the Chronicler who said
So,
that the land
in case I wind up cutting it out, we are going to be talking over this sort of stuff. If you don't have a PlayStation and aren't gonna try to play it yourself, you're just gonna have to deal with it.
For sure. I'm so excited for Final Fantasy 16. I played through most of the demo, and which is what we're doing right now, and very excited.
Yeah.
It is a R-rated Final Fantasy, or I guess M-rated, but not since Type 0.
Yeah, that's in. Most people don't remember Type 0 in the lead up to this one. Like, it's a mature Final Fantasy. They've never done one of those before. I'm like, well, Class 0 would have a lot to say about that. They'd also die, but you know. Although I think this game is it's one of those like sort of rare combination of factors that I think you're the only other person that I know who's hyped for the same reasons.
Okay, that's in the middle of a Venn diagram you're about to describe.
The crossover of the combination of Yoshi P and Creative Business Unit 3.
The best team with the worst name.
Yeah, like the saviors of Final Fantasy 14, which there's a whole video that I did on how much I love that one. Got together with the guys from the comic designers from Devil May Cry and were like, hey, let's watch a lot of Game of Thrones and then make a game.
Yeah.
And thus this was born.
Yeah, they and also they watched a lot of Game of Thrones. Like the first 2 or 3 seasons at least. It was good for sure. I am excited about the part where the story assumedly does have an ending. It's not in the demo. Right? I assume it's longer than just a few hours. And that the ending is not written by producers of the Game of Thrones show. So that makes me excited to see where this would go.
Yeah. I have no dog in that fight. I did not watch Game of Thrones. I tried reading the first book before general internet culture and spoiler culture just made me kind of fed up with it.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I greatly enjoyed watching Game of Thrones with a group of people, even when it was bad, because it's fun to share that experience, even if the actual content took a dive at the end.
Yeah. I know at least one of those people and times was with me. I just kind of watched an episode. It was in the middle of probably like the second or third season, and I was like, this isn't good.
Yeah, second, third season is still in the good times, but yeah, I guess.
Well, it was a filler episode.
Okay.
I do not feel like detailing which one because the
yeah,
the sort of telling part of it is a little gross.
That's fair. there's a lot of that.
Where's the fun in that?
Something that I noticed almost immediately in the staging, the direction, and the sort of like acting in this game is that
Keep that in mind.
there is mocap for expressions. There's not anime voice sounds. So the characters don't go. They actually they communicate non-verbally very frequently, which I find very novel for a Final Fantasy game, and even for games in general. It's still fairly novel, but the fact that it hasn't really been seen in Final Fantasy before, it just makes me that much more excited, because I was like, oh, those characters shared a look, but they didn't say anything. And it's like, I think I get it.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that. Also, this character is just like Final Fantasy 14 box art, man.
Yeah, getting some
Focus.
in some serious. What do they call? Oh, Hubert, I think is supposed to be the official.
Yeah, Herbert, something like that. Yeah, like the
or Derplander, if you prefer.
It's the warrior lad.
Mm-hmm.
I said focus, Wyvern.
Focus Wyvern team.
All right, it's telling us how to move. We're in a game. Woo!
Yeah, can't do much right now. It's still tutorial.
Don't have time for this. All hell is
Actually, kind of.
I'm gonna be blasting through these.
Yeah, that's fair. It's pretty straightforward. This is going to be mostly cutscenes. Not gonna lie. Which
yeah.
That's fine. I expected that going in, and then, there's a little bit of gameplay between cutscenes, especially it's all set up and flashbacks or flash forwards or flash sideways. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's another reason I was sort of looking forward to this one is, in a lot of ways, it's kind of a return to that kind of, like Final Fantasy 7 through 12 style, where you have a lot of cutscene, but then you have like sections of gameplay that come after that. And just because the cutscenes are needed to like set up exactly what's going on and what you're trying to do here. In this particular case, it's sort of well, again, to bring up Type 0 again, it's kind of that same situation of you're in the middle of a huge conflict between these enemy nations. Each one has a MacGuffin. In Type 0, it was crystals, and this actually I think I'm pretty sure it's crystals in this one too.
Mother crystals. It seems, yeah. There's still tons of crystal stories, and that's okay.
Yeah, but the other thing that they have is, as they are alluding to, this the dominance, and by extension the icons, which I always love that as the term for the summon monsters.
Sure.
In Final Fantasy, don't know why.
It's
another
only
one of those.
It's just in 14, right? For the Empire refers to as
I thought it was in Final Fantasy 9.
Those are Eidolons.
Right.
Eiko is a character, but then Eidolon or Eidolon is which is I think it's a concept in the Mastic Mysticism. It's like a spirit self.
Well, things to look up later.
Sure.
It's like I thought it was used before 14, but I mean, if not, hey, that's another thing Yoshi P and his team did that I was like, that's awesome.
Esper's summons, Guardian Forces, Eidolons. I think it was just summons again in 10. No idea what was happening in 11. And then Esper's again.
The less said, the better.
Esper's again in 12. Lassie in 13. Or Fal'Cie, I forget. Lassie? Fal'Cie.
Well, the characters were Lassie.
Okay, so the Fal'Cie were
the Fal'Cie were the big gods that they were serving.
I wonder that you summoned us as
I can't remember what the summons were called in 13.
little faith in your own men?
I thought they were Fal'Cies still. Well, it's been a long time. And then, of course,
the
14.
Dalmex who
And 15, I
drove
think they were
back
just
the
summons
Crusaders
again?
in
No,
the
primal.
Battle
Or
of the
were they
Twin
actually called
Realms,
primals in
was it
15?
not?
I completely forgot because they were useless from a gameplay perspective. Like, the odds and chances and things you had to do for them to show up in 15 kind of brought into question, well, why bother? In fact, the only one that I could consistently get to show up with any kind of regularity was Odin, just because half of his was be outside.
Nice.
We would be fools to underestimate them. Bugger their knights. What did you say?
Their dominant lad here on the side, aside from being a very large lad, has very strong Witcher 2 energy.
Yeah.
He looks like the sort of antagonist from that game.
Yeah, I haven't played Witcher, but my touchstone for him is, oh look, there's more Game of Thrones.
Also, yeah, a mountain of a man, you might say.
Yes, I definitely would call him that.
The Iron Blood will rule the day they set foot on Storm. This game is over.
Well, had a good run.
Yeah, well, pack it up, pack it in.
Oh, but that's what you do right before you begin. I thought it was over. I'm getting confused now.
Yeah.
Cyclical. You know, it cycles.
Such language.
Benedict.
There's people getting their blood splattered everywhere in that huge battle earlier.
Take care.
What a weird thing
Does
for a
the
Final
lion
Fantasy
take
game.
care when he chases the hare? Or do you think me one of the latter?
No, my love. You are a lion. You're my lion.
I'm not afraid of a little frost, Benedicta. But I will need someone to warm me when I come home.
So, again, setting out to say, it's like, what if we made a different kind of Final Fantasy?
Yeah, in this case, like, the visual acting is like, there seems like there's some duplicity there, so it's like just a subtle look at the end. I was like, can't tell if she's being genuine, she's playing him both ways, or if she's doing both at the same time. And I'm like, I wasn't expecting that kind of possible reading from a Final Fantasy character.
Indeed. I mean, I'm used to the warring nations and the backstabbing, the betrayal. Those are all over the place. I mean, there's the most famous one that I can think of is always is Final Fantasy IV, where Cecil's like, okay, I'll deliver this peace offering to these people. Surprise, it's a bomb. Like, a bomb monster.
Called a bomb, so
Called a
fair
bomb.
to call it a bomb.
And it does explode, so yeah. You know what? I guess I needn't have specified.
Sure.
Whatever.
Wait.
But yeah, I think this is the
Something's not right.
first time seeing that sort of betrayal as something not cartoonishly over the top and more subtle and political.
Yeah, I am a little skeptical about a plot that's mostly just kingdoms fighting over resources, in this case magical superhero resources, but still it's like, I've seen it before. But I do know the kinds of places that Final Fantasy XIV has gone with its characters and plot, so I was like, okay, benefit of the doubt here. This group of people have made some very interesting stories, so...
Yeah. I mean, in 14, I know when Xenos' father shows up and kind of at the negotiation table just lays out everything of like, this is why we fight you people. This is why we're not going to surrender. I'm like, well, they're significantly more interesting than just it's the
like
Empire.
Yeah, Empire bad, Kingdom good. So, they have their reasons. It's reasonable.
Yeah.
In fact, they're kind of the underdogs, at least in the Magic Society they live in.
Yeah. And like the lead up and the events that happen around the Empire for Shadowbringers were again some more of my like favorite stuff that came out of that. I'm intentionally being vague in case somebody wants to play Shadowbringers at some point.
Because it's great, but also play everything before it too. It's quite an ask. It's not like it's not like watch all of One Piece kind of an ask, but it's close.
I love One Piece, but I would never ask anyone to watch that show.
I do like the design of Shiva. For an iteration of Shiva, fairly like conservatively dressed. Normally there's more Shiva skin in traditional depiction.
Oh my, what was that?
Super speed. Yeah, this sequence here with the Titan earthquake, I thought was very effective. Watching big monsters punch each other is kind of cool, and that's fine. But seeing it from the ground level as everything is breaking apart, I think it goes a long way towards, well, literally grounding the conflict of you being the tiny person, and basically even the armies are useless because this is just a war against these magical superheroes, basically.
Whoops. Hit my mic.
Okay. You're just so pumped. You're like, they said the F word, yes!
Nah, I was like, I raised my right hand and my mic went wham.
Fair enough. So these characters here are not, I mean, their relationships are not explicitly stated. They do seem to all have, I think they all have the same face tattoo?
They do.
I don't know if it was only two of them or if
rocks fall, everybody dies.
Yeah.
Wyvern! I told you before, you do not get to die here.
I wonder if it is the same tattoo or not, or marking.
That's a good question. However, now it's time for the I bet you're wondering how I got here portion of the game.
I think it's supposed to be, you're assumed to have been the younger version of the character we were just playing, but I don't think that's necessarily true, but maybe it's made extremely explicit later, but because going through the I was just thinking, like, it is not the first time, if this were the case, and I don't know because I'm just playing along, so I'm just guessing here. It would not be the first time that a character in a Final Fantasy game closely identified with another character that they were very similar to in a knighthood role. So,
yeah. Well, reading some of the lore, and we'll get to that when the game tutorializes it.
Sure. That dog is cute. If anything happens to that dog, I'm going to burn the PlayStation to the ground.
Yeah. I looked at it, and I told Megan, it's like that dog is wretchedly adorable. But as I was saying, I know the answer to your question of whether or not it's the same person. So
okay. I'll say why I was doubting that. At least it'll happen here in these next few cutscenes after the fight tutorial. I like the combat. It's not here, but later in the demo, which is not too much longer. They just straight up are like, "Hey, you want Helm Splitter, Enemy Step, and Stinger?" I'm like, Yes, of course I do. Please, now.
It's like, why would you even ask me?
Why?
Just give it to me.
Why is that not in the first tutorial? Of course I want those things.
And here we have one of the more immediate improvements, in my opinion, from 15.
Okay.
You can use magic just using the magic, and it doesn't like explode like a hand grenade and kill your friends.
Nice. At least this one. There's still time for
There is still time.
friend killing, yeah.
Yeah. Like I was not a fan of how Final Fantasy 15 handled the use of magic. Like the mixing and matching elements together to create magic, that was awesome. But it was that it was always a grenade, that it always did friendly fire unless you specifically equipped an accessory. I was like, well, this makes me just not want to use it.
For sure. Honestly, I remember very little of the actual combat of Final Fantasy 15, so take your word for it.
That's because there's not much to it.
Okay.
At all.
I am extremely... look, I love a sword summoner, so I was happy.
Yeah, I mean, that was great. Loved that part. It was, like, just specifically, like, the magic, like, fire, lightning. That was all weak. Yeah, my dodging is...
You're getting beat up.
Interesting. He
There you go.
cures.
So he just automatically healed himself there. I assume that's just kind of for the tutorial.
Yeah,
Okay.
he did. Which is another question answered. Also, it is doing, it is judging you, Devil May Cry style, on the side, so perfect dodges times 2, that sort of thing.
You have been blessed by the Phoenix, granted the use of its power.
One of the things I like about the implicit relationship between these two characters in this one cutscene is that it starts off thinking that it could just be a very cliched gruff instructor that is just interested in belittling the character. Which, hey, if it were fully Game of Thrones, that might be more of the case. This doesn't have quite the filthiness of the of a Game of Thrones. The character relationship here seems to be that this guy actually does want to improve this kid, but does know how to get under his skin, but actually wants to see him succeed. I was like, what an interesting dynamic. So simple.
Yeah, like an actual drill instructor. Like he's not there to try and, like, you know, make you fail. He's there to try and make you into a better soldier.
Mm-hmm. He's got some quips. He's got some, you know, snide remarks. He also has just observations and encouragement. So.
Oh wow, the high potion was just barely not enough.
Just a little bit more. There we go.
Battle is a succession of pivotal moments, wherein life and death can be decided at a single stroke. You must be ready to utilize every tool.
I mean, he's also
at your
right.
disposal if you are to
And
navigate a path
that's
to victory.
that is good advice,
To ensure that you live to fight another day.
and not just
Enough
the
practice.
like sort of what you would
Time for
expect
the
of. It's like,
test.
your life means nothing. Yours is to be dedicated entirely to the protection of the king and gentry.
I thought you'd never ask.
Come then, Lord Rosfield. Spar with me. If you believe yourself worthy to be called Shield of the Flame, then prove it.
As you wish, my lord.
Have at me, boy. Make proof of your strength.
Some strong Final Fantasy VIII energy on the battle music here.
You're sure to beat
That
it
makes
this
me happy.
time? You can do it, Clive. Just stay calm.
Precision dodge 3, precision counter.
You're taking this seriously.
Keep going, Clive.
You gotta do those magic weaves. Do those combo extensions. I like this.
Yeah.
Would you like to do this? Look, I think it's happening. I see it happening already.
Yeah, calm down, game.
So yeah, at least in this, the stagger system is still around. It seems like that's kind of standard for Final Fantasy now, which is fine. It's been around to 13 actually, which is a long time at this point. So.
Yeah, I mean that's well over what 15 years at this point.
So it's kind of like the standard. Each game, of course, interprets it differently, but the standard nomenclature of stagger meter, stagger build up, damage phases.
Yeah, I mean I definitely liked it. I kind of like it. I like the way that 13 did it a little bit more, just because it had the aerial component where the goal was not just to stagger them, but stagger them in the air so that they would take extra damage from the stagger and from being suspended. And if you weaved your abilities just right, you could keep them up there basically indefinitely.
What are you lot gawping at? Back to your
Yeah,
drills.
it's similarness in Xenoblade Chronicles with their the chain attacks with the I forget what they call them. It's not status effects, but it's combat reactions. Would you chain them up until they're in the air and then end it with a smash or a burst?
Joshua, I was just tired. The Phoenix's flames are a gift. You mustn't waste them.
It isn't a waste. My shields look after me. Why shouldn't I?
That's why. You were coughing this morning.
And
child
there's
is-
that cough.
Child's coughing.
Be fine.
As a phoenix,
Just a cold.
I feel like
Don't push yourself.
death and rebirth is like expected. So don't feel
Yeah.
bad. It just might,
So many people forget about that first part.
yeah, like don't worry, you'll be reborn in the fire. I'm a child and I
What
don't
about
want to
before
die.
that?
I don't want to die.
This is
It's like,
no
okay,
place for one such as
I hear
you.
what you're saying.
I would gladly brave hell itself to see my darling boy. Gentlemen, Rosaria thanks you for your indefatigable loyalty.
Thank you, Your Grace. We live to serve.
Joshua. You should not be out of doors. We have discussed this.
I'm sorry.
Good day to you, Mother.
Come, Joshua. Your father will be expecting us.
So once again, going back to the Game of Thrones, getting
Game of
the
Thrones.
getting the Jon Snow vibes.
We've got the bastard Jon Snow. We've got the precious little Stark child here. Just,
And the mother covering her mouth.
Flesh and blood.
I've been assuming that it's so that no one can lip read her.
Not everyone
Yeah,
can be
that
born
might
a
be.
Phoenix.
So because I can't remember where, but at another point, a character
Join them.
does the same thing.
okay.
Uh,
I also want to say that I really like this interaction with the guards in the back, because I feel like in a worse written scene, it's just exposition and they're just making fun of the little Clive here. In this, which I think is written well, they are giving exposition, right? Because they're explaining like, oh, he's not the Phoenix. But they actually are genuinely off-put by the disdain that his mother has, because they actually respect Clive, but they have to be quiet because obviously they're not in a position to criticize. I was like, okay, that's an interesting dynamic. Instead of it just being they're being bitchy or something.
Rise, my friends.
Yeah, and the thing that I was curious about, and one of the encyclopedia entries explains this
You are well, I trust.
a little bit later, but I'll just cover it now. So Joshua does have the Phoenix, and I was curious. It's like, well, if he has the Phoenix, why does Clive still have like Phoenix stuff and fire powers? Clive's position as a shield gets a portion of the power, sort of like Noctis's friends in Final Fantasy 15.
Okay.
So while he does not have the Phoenix within him, the Phoenix blesses whoever is the shield. with some of its power in order to protect the dominant. So that's the relationship you've got here.
The capital rejoices at
Look
your
at that cute
safe
dog.
return.
It is a,
Grace.
petting the dog is
So
fine.
adorbs.
It is completely fine. Holding the dog and being nice to the dog is just fine. But if anything, I
must make
swear,
ready.
if anything bad happens to that dog,
Is the situation truly so grave? Come to the throne room. We will talk there.
Yes, Father. Your Grace.
the Archbishop here is very strong Ned Stark energy. Maybe too strong.
Yeah. And going back to our conversation about Game of Thrones, or rather my lack of kind of exposure to it overall, when I quit halfway through, I hadn't actually watched the show at that point. And I remember saying to, it might have been Andrew, yeah, I gave up on it, but like this Ned guy, he feels like the person that Sean Bean would be playing in the movie.
Sure.
Which
Sean Bean being cast is also, yeah.
Is trouble
There's
brewing?
implications, I suppose. But
yeah. Turns out I was right.
yeah. Do you want to split the video or just keep going?
Yeah, you know what? This is actually a good place. Let's split it here.
Yeah.